Can you tell us more about what Red Wednesday is about?
Red Wednesday is an initiative of aid to the church in need around the world. We have Red Wednesday in Italy, in France, in Brazil, in Portugal, in Spain, and the idea, and the UK, the United Kingdom, where it started. And the idea is to introduce and to raise awareness of the fact of Christian persecution all around the world.
And why are we lighting up churches red?
The idea with the color red is to remind us of the martyrdom, that the Christians are suffering a martyrdom. If we think today of what's happening just in Iraq alone, where between 2003 and 2017, the Christians in Iraq were 1.3 million in 2003. Today, Christians in Iraq number about 300,000. So we're thinking of 1 million Christians that have left the country out of persecution.
And can you tell us more about the state of Christian persecution around the world?
Yes, I think we are seeing really three kinds of persecution. The first kind is where it is sponsored by the state. So we are looking at China or Cuba or North Korea, for example, or Saudi Arabia, where the state is actively persecuting Christians in order not to challenge the authority of the government. The second kind of persecution of Christians I would call fundamentalist nationalism. We look at, for example, India as an example, where the Hindu nationalism is growing with the BJP party, and as a consequence, we have seen a growing amount of Christian persecution because I think already in the report that we published from 2015 to 2017, in these last 2 years, there have been more than 316 incidents of persecution of Christians in India. The last element is what we all know very well is fundamentalist extremism. Radical Islam, for example, where we're seeing Christians being persecuted in Syria, in Iraq, in Mindanao, for example, where fundamentalist Islam is coming and persecuting Christians simply for the fact that they are Christians.
How does this compare to other periods of persecution of Christians in history?
I would say, and the research that we have done between 2015 and 2017 is that Christians are experiencing the worst persecution and the worst kind of persecution that has been in modern history.
In modern history, since the time of Christ?
Yes, I mean, we need to consider also the time of communism. I mean, when you consider that under communist regimes, the Soviet Union and in the Soviet countries at that time, the persecution, but I think in modern times of what we can consider, certainly in the last 30 years, if not more.
And so what can ordinary people like us do?
I think the first thing is to be aware that actions like this Red Wednesday, drawing attention to the fact of Christian persecution all around the world today. As Christians, we can pray for our brothers and sisters who are suffering persecution, but also to speak out, to say this is not right, to call upon our governments, to say you have a responsibility to make sure that Christians, like all other religious traditions in society, are protected. For example, the Christians in Iraq, when you speak to Patriarch Sacco, he says, we don't want to be special within the society. We want citizenship. We want to be recognized as Christians equal to every other religious tradition in that country, and therefore enjoy the rights and obligations as citizens within Iraq like any other religious tradition. This is what we are calling for as Christians, as minorities in these countries.